Welcome. I'm Purpose Fulfillment Guide and author Rosalind Elena McGrath. And today we're going to hone in on the secrets to your adaptability zappers. And what I'm talking about is that strength of adaptability, which is so key to our ability to surrender so that we can go to that next level of flourishing our purpose. So if you haven't watched parts one and two in this series yet, I invite you to take a few minutes and do that, and then come on back here. So now we're honing in on what those four key adaptability zappers are really all about, right? So, as we discussed before, first, fear of change. This is wired into our system to have a certain amount of fear of change. Because of course, right, when something is more familiar, we have a sense of how to respond to it, how to work with it, and so on, right? Change brings in the unknown. The unknown, there tends to be a certain level of fear, and certainly our deep genetics about survival, right? Change, novelty is great, but change, right, can really bring in some level of survival fear, and this can be very unconscious. Okay. The second adaptability zapper is attachment, and by this, what I'm referring to is that something must be a certain way, right? And to have that, to grow that strength of adaptability, attachment holds that back because attachment says something must be a certain way or I must have a certain thing in order for things to be okay or good or so on. That's different from desire for something in the way I'm referring to this. We can, want this and prefer that and so on, but attachment has that grabbing, grippy quality to it. Okay. So that certainly diminishes our adaptability. The third key adaptability zapper is habit. So we all have a certain amount of habit that allows us to have a certain amount of autopilot in our life so that we don't have to figure everything out anew each time, right? So that is normal and natural. And our kind of the degree of entrenchment of habit limits our adaptability. And then the fourth key adaptability zapper, conformity, we may not always realize just how much we are conforming, that there's certain expectations in our group, in our family, in our associates, in our peers, in our culture about how we're going to act or dress or think or respond to things. It is like part of the social grease in a way that there is a certain amount of conformity because certainly there's limitless ways potentially that someone could respond, could do things, could dress, and so on, right? I'm sure there's quite a list we can come up with. But the more conformity is entrenched there, the more that limits our adaptability. And certainly, as highly sensitive healers and visionaries who often want others to feel comfortable and can feel any discomfort on others' part very palpably, there can be that kind of not, I don't want to say reasoning, but incentive um, for us to perhaps conform more than gives us that spaciousness from which we can really surrender to that next level of flourishing our purpose and the adaptability that that requires. So, lots of food for thought here. You might want to just start writing, journaling on this topic and see where it brings you. If this topic, I would love to hear more about how this translates for you if you'd share in the comments. And if this topic is of interest, if you'd like to find out more about solutions, ways to build your adaptability and that power of surrender, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll address that in the next video. In the meantime, I want to thank you so much for being here and for being you. Namaste and many blessings to you, my friend.